We're here to teach you how to play Swordplay.
A quick, fun, two-player sword fighting game of hand management and simultaneous play.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm Joel.
We're the Doughbros.
Our last name is Doherty.
And we're brothers. I designed Swordplay.
And I made it pretty.
To play Swordplay, you will need
Flat thing.
Sit things!
2 humans.
And a copy of Swordplay.
There are 16 blue cards and 16 red cards in the box. Give the blue cards to the player on the left and the red cards to the player on the right.
This card is the life card. It goes in front of you with the completely fine edge facing towards you.
Each player has 5 special cards with a little purple banner. Set these aside in their own face-down deck for now.
Shuffle the remaining 10 cards into your draw deck, and then draw a hand of 5.
And you're ready to play.
The 5 cards represent the moves you can make. You simply choose one, and when you're both ready, reveal them at the same time and see what happens.
That's a game turn. Draw a card from the deck and take another turn. Continue taking turns until somebody wins by scoring 3 hits on their opponent.
Played cards go up here and tell the story of the fight.
And that's basically it. You know how to play.
Except you don't.
So what are these moves you can make? Now might be a good time to go and have a look at what's actually in this starting deck.
Of the 10 cards, 5 are attack cards. You have 3 thrust cards, which are your basic attacks, 1 sweep and 1 lunge.
The attack cards, as you might expect, are used to attack your opponent. The position of the sword on the attacking card shows where the attack hits.
Your thrust cards hit through the middle box, sweep hits through the bottom, and lunge through the top.
To see what happens when you make an attack, you need to look at the corresponding result box on your opponent's card.
This symbol means block. The attack doesn't hit. Thrust blocks thrust.
Ding!
And this symbol means evade. The attack doesn't hit. Evade is better than a block because all attack cards have a negative effect that's triggered when successfully evaded. We'll come back to effects in a bit. This symbol means you get hit. The player who got hit turns their life card a quarter turn to show they've taken damage. Then, both players draw back up until each have 5 cards in their hand again.
Usually, after resolving a turn, if no one scored a hit, each player draws 1 card, and then you do it again.
Usually. Now about those effects.
There are 4 effects you need to know about: stress, off balance, exposed, and upper hand. As a handy rule, these effects always apply to the player with the symbol showing on their card.
If you get the stress effect, you don't draw a card at the end of your turn.
You'll now be playing with 1 less card in your hand, reducing your options for future turns.
The off-balance effect is a bit worse. You have to discard a card from your hand face up.
Again, you'll be playing with 1 less card, but it also runs your deck out faster and gives more information to your opponent. You still draw a card at the end of your turn, though.
Exposed is the worst effect. On your next turn, you have to choose and play your card before your opponent chooses and plays theirs.
You still get to draw a card at the end of your turn, but your opponent has a huge advantage.
Finally, the good one. Upper hand. This is the opposite of exposed.
If you gain the upper hand, your opponent has to choose and play their card before you choose and play yours next turn.
You might have noticed that the attack cards aren't actually too bad at blocking. So what do the non-attack cards do?
You have 2 blocks, parry and deflect. These are safe cards to play in that they block all incoming attacks and both can potentially give you the upper hand if your opponent plays a particular attack.
You also have 2 evades, sidestep and retreat. These aren't as safe as blocks. You have a chance of being hit, but you also have the chance of triggering the negative effects on your opponent's attack cards.
Finally, the refresh card, the trick of swordplay. See, cards that you play into the story or discard from being off balance don't go back into your hand until you play refresh.
Which means you're going to run out of cards before long. If you have no draw deck, you don't draw.
Of course, refresh is the most vulnerable card in the game. It's the only card in the starting deck that thrust actually hits.
So you really want to play it when you think your opponent isn't going to play an attack.
When you refresh, a few things happen. First, you secretly choose one of those 5 set-aside special cards and add it to your hand.
Second, if you weren't hit, you may choose to keep any cards currently in your hand and discard the rest.
If you were hit, instead discard all of your cards.
Finally, take all played and discarded cards and shuffle them together to form a new draw deck.
Draw until you're back up to 5 cards.
Now you actually do know how to play. If you like, you can stop this video and go play.
Or you could keep watching and find out about the 5 special cards.
These special cards add a few twists to the gameplay and keep your opponent guessing a bit more. Here's what they do.
On guard lets you draw a card. Then, if your opponent attacked, you can replace on guard with a block from your hand. That's either parry or deflect.
This card is the only one in the game that can potentially get you playing with 6 cards instead of 5. It's also the best counter to being exposed.
Feint is the anti-block card. If your opponent played a block, you get the upper hand. Also, you can block any attack, but this makes you off balance.
This card makes the blocks less safe, good against defensive fighters.
Duck is the only card that evades all 3 attacks. However, if you play it and your opponent doesn't attack, you're exposed.
Fun! Flesh is an aggressive card in which you leap at, or maybe past, your opponent. It evades lunge and thrust, and if your opponent did not attack, you must replace Flesh with an attack from your hand.
It's good against players who really like their evades.
Finally, again!
Again!
Again! Repeats the last card you played.
Ah, you thought you were safe from my lunge? Think again!
Again! In most games, you'll add 2 or 3 of these cards to your draw deck.
2 last very uncommon situations, and then we're done. First, disarm. Aha!
In the rare case that the off-balance effect forces a player to discard the last card from their hand, that player is disarmed and instantly loses.
This is true whether or not the draw deck is empty. In the hundreds of games of Swordplay that we've played, I think this has happened twice.
Yeah. Finally, simultaneous death.
If both players have taken 2 hits and both play lunge, then both players have taken 3 hits.
In this rare case, both players discard their refresh, either straight away or when they draw it, and then keep playing either until another hit is scored or one player runs out of cards. That player loses.
If both players run out of cards on the same turn, that is called a dead draw. But I don't think that's ever happened.
But it could.
It could. But now you know how to play Swordplay.
Yes, that's all the rules. We're done. We hope you enjoy playing.
Thanks for watching.